Good day, everybody. It's time for another podcast. The no pain kitten behind me here. Is that right? So I'd like to introduce to everybody Figaro. Oh, it's Figaro. Want to get a little meow out for us?
That's great. I wasn't sure the name of the kitty until now. Figaro.
Yep.
I like that.
Figaro. That's how I want to say.
Yeah.
When I
Nice.
when I get him fed, that's what I want to say. Figaro. And then I want to train him so he comes running. But
Right now, the cats at my place are trained to come running when they hear the snap of the whiskus. Like, they come in like triple packs, and when I crack the plastic, I can hear them running from upstairs. Their footprints running.
Sweet.
They definitely triggered by sounds.
Oh man, I'm a cat guy. I really think that cats are the ultimate pet in so many ways. Main thing I found with pets is that the ones I like the most are the ones that use the cat litter box kind of like system, like or like where you don't have to let them outside all the time. I mean, like I thought about like getting like a parrot, and I just realized it's really hard to get them to poop in one place, to actually get them to fly to their perch and poop there.
You mean like the kind of parrot that would be outside of his enclosure regularly, or
Yeah, like when they kind of like fly around the house. 'Cause I wouldn't really feel good about like having a bird locked up in the cage all the time. But it's like the same thing with like you can get like I think of bearded dragons and stuff like that. They don't go to the cat litter box. You have to like basically hope they poop in the cage or hope they don't poop on you, kind of thing.
Well, bearded dragons aren't exactly like house trained type animals.
That's what I'm saying.
Reptiles.
So I'm wondering like which ones are. Like it seems like cats are like one of the best because they actually, they're actually really clean, and they poop where they're supposed to. If you take good care of the cat litter box, anyway. But today's topic is kittens.
How to litter box train your kitten.
Oh.
No?
Okay. Well, today we're going to talk about, how much money roofers make, how much you can expect in the industry. We are hoping for some new recruits to come in. I think that's one of the biggest holdbacks on our business right now is just that we don't have enough, really solid guys. Like roofers are, a dime a dozen in some way, but it seems like they don't show up when they say they're going to, or they have drug issues, or they don't have a vehicle to drive. And that's a really crazy stigma, I think, with roofers. And it's like such a true stereotype is that roofers don't have vehicles for some reason.
I can attest to that fact. I mean, we've had to pick up quite a few employees in the past from either the train station or from their house, depending on where they live. And yeah, it's difficult to say why that is, but I feel like it's just a less desirable trade, maybe. And it seems that the only real applicants are those who are maybe down and out, looking for whatever job they can get, almost.
Right,
it's difficult to say.
got
That's how it seems
roof
sometimes.
their garage with their
People see it as a
uncle's best
fail-safe,
friend's roommate.
maybe. Or or they've tried it, or they have had experience with family or something, and they use that as leverage into a position, maybe. It's hard to say.
I think that what I've kind of noticed is that I think it's kind of true. Like 80%, no, it's like 20% of the roofers do 80% of the work, kind of thing. So I think like when you call a roofing company, like you usually go through a few before you actually get to the one that's actually going to do the job, and then most of them that they end up just hiring a company, and then nobody shows up, and it takes like a long time to get the roof done, and then it gets done crappy. So it's like it's really hard to find actual serious roofers. But I think as it sits right now for sloped roofers, I think the going rates are about $25 to $40 an hour is what I've determined. More or less under special circumstances. I think it also depends on what kind of roof you put on, but I think the great thing about getting into the roofing trade is that the learning curve isn't that bad. It's not like it's not like rocket science. You don't have to study for years and years. To get shingling, you can generally get the basis of the go through some courses and things like that, and get a little bit hands on, and then you're basically good to go after
Yeah.
that.
I was going to say it's not exactly prerequisite with every company. I mean, you could certainly just be thrown into the fray and learn the trade well enough to perform adequately. But there are those other companies like ourselves that require certain certification in order to install the product that we stand by, a product that we affiliate ourselves closely with.
Right.
And yeah, unfortunately, that can be a bit of an obstacle for some people. But I mean, it's all because of that saying, right? Quality over quantity. And you need to understand fundamentals of a certain product in order to install it correctly.
Right, and that's why it's hard to say like exactly how much a roofer makes, because there's all kinds of differences in terms of what, you know, like you can get a cheap, you know, cash corner roofer, or you can get a, you know, a fully certified, you know, with a manufacturer kind of roofer. But I think the main things that you have in the roofing industry is you have your first aid kit, first aid certification, and your fall arrest, and then some kind of, you know, manufacturer training, and yeah, you're basically pretty much good to go there. After that, it's just muscle memory and being okay with heights.
Yeah, and a willingness to perform.
Yeah,
Because that's something that we've seen to be the difficult, or in other words, that seems to be the most fundamental requirement, because we've had people show up fully equipped but have seen the job that we're working on and decide to just either drive past the site without stopping. It's funny because at one point we knew it was them because we knew the vehicle description and we've seen him, his appearance, and he just pulled up to site, kind of looked up at the roof and kept on driving, right? So the willingness to put yourself through that sort of physical stress during the job is definitely difficult for some people.
they drive by like, oh God, I think they saw me. Oh,
No.
I think that there's a lot of laziness in the industry, and I think a lot of these people are just literally not wanting to do the work. You know, it's just. But I think when people think about roofing, they always think about like if there's sunshine and just perfect temperatures all the time on the roof, and it's not the case. Sometimes it's windy, sometimes it's too cold or too rainy. But what I like about it is that, you know, the weather can give you a day off at random, and I think that's kind of neat. You know, like it's like, oh, you wake up and it's like it's raining outside, and you're like, so let's just have a nice nap, drink some coffee.
Yeah, well, considering today's topic is more so about potential wages, that can certainly be a determining factor as well. You know, you have those crew members who are waiting for those perfect days or almost expect those perfect days, and when they don't have those perfect days, you find them, oh, I slept in, or oh, I can't make it, or I'm just not coming to work today. And that has been the determining factor. When it came to letting go of certain employees over the years, right?
Yeah, it's seasonal in some ways, and it can not exactly be totally stable in terms of income, but that's why, you know, we make what we make, you know, and I think it's I found it to be, you know, never been short on cash, never been short on work since I've started the business, or not even not even as a business owner, but just looking for work. There's always been a roof to do somewhere, you know. Hey, Daniel, if you'd like, you can sit in that chair if you want. There's no camera angle.
Yeah, that's totally right. We've got our infamous photographer, Daniel. You guys are all familiar with him because he's been, well, when we had a bigger podcast space, he was on camera more often.
Yeah.
Now that
Speaking of which, we are building a fancy big old podcast space hopefully sometime this year.
Big things in the works.
Oh my
I am
God.
excited for that because in terms of cable management and just desk organization and everything else, like you can't see it on camera, but the lack of space definitely makes that game a little bit difficult.
Yeah,
in terms of rebuilding this whole thing, like, no, that's one of my favorite things, actually. Studio setup.
Oh yeah, no, we're gonna
tech management. I love that stuff. So
bigger and better. That's the way we go.
Indeed.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I think that like you know, it depends on where you are in roofing. I mean, I think that, you know, if you like with our company, there's quite a bit of room to make a lot more money, especially with the changes that we're doing, where you can, you know, once you're at a certain point of responsibility and level to grow the company, be able to manage, more crews and get more profit sharing and kind of like just do like a little bit more of a volume based income. And
Yeah.
I find that with roofing, the easier the position gets, the more money you end up making, because you're just taking on more responsibility. I think like one of the biggest things that we try to do, and which seems to be one of the hardest things to get roofers to do in general, is just practice general safety standards and filling out their documents like they're supposed to, and just representing the brand properly on our job sites. So
Yeah, it can be, I mean, a second thought for some crews and some crew members. Not to point anyone out specifically, I can't think of anyone specific, but sometimes your first thought isn't, let's set up the worksite safety sandwich board that we have, and having our vehicles parked in a way that almost say displays our logo, not to mention yard signs that we have, things like this. It's not always the first thought. Even say wearing the no pain apparel that we have.
right.
You could be caught up in a job so much so that might not be the first thought on your mind in the morning, to make sure you wear your no pain hoodie and what have you. So
Well, yeah, we're basically, I think we're at a point in time where we're going to be paying a guy $35 an hour just to drive around to every crew and just make sure that they're just doing those basic things, and while also, doing inspections. That's a part. If you don't have the skill, you can't do inspections. And inspections is pretty gravy. It's not exactly a labor intensive job, and you can make good money doing it. So I think that we're not the one thing though is, I mean, we're like, the roofing trade is not like the highest paying. From my studies I've done, it's actually floor laying that is I think one of the highest paying trades there is in Alberta. But
then again, that would play into different certifications and whatnot. Like, for example, say, if I say floorer, is that the right word? A floorer, a floor layer, or like what
a florist.
A florist.
I
See,
don't
are
know.
we talking flowers? Like, what are we? Okay, but what I mean is, if they are, say, like a red seal florist versus a fly by night florist.
Oh,
say a mercenary
day.
Mercenary florist, there's obviously a difference in pay grade in that case. So
Oh,
there's a few different factors that come into play, no doubt about it.
Well, it depends on the level of roofing you're doing. I mean, there's stuff that we haven't touched, like slate roofs, and then with slate you can get into like those projects can be multi-million-dollar projects easily, and when it comes down to like designs and all that kind of stuff, like you can like it just goes on to a whole new level of what you can do. And I don't even know what those guys make, but I'm sure they make a lot more than standard standard roofing products. So
Yeah, I mean, it requires a specific level of expertise in order to properly install a variety of products. Like you mentioned slate, but another good example would be, I guess, say shake roof as opposed to an asphalt shingle roof.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different procedure, right? It's arguably more labor intensive. You would expect there to be a fluctuation in pay grade. And we're looking at also now these more modern roofing solutions, like, for example, Tesla's solar panel tiles, things like that,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because now there's an electrical component that falls into the install. And I mean, yeah, you could go on and on about how different products could have a different, requirement in terms of expertise and skill level. So,
well,
sky is the limit.
We have signed on just a few months ago with a solar shingle company, and we're definitely going to be charging more money to install that stuff. It requires a lot more expertise, and a lot more things are involved, like permits and electrical engineers and electricians and things like that. But
Well, if I'm sorry to interrupt, but I was just thinking, if we do have these solar tile installers that are certified in electrical equipment or in electrical install, that would also broaden the horizons in other ways for the company. For example, we see time and time again a necessity for upgraded bathroom fan systems and things like that. And we typically don't offer those services, considering the electrical component that involves the install.
right.
But we have people that can lay these, can tie in electrical systems on the roof. I'd be damned if we couldn't install a bath fan system as well.
Oh
right?
yeah. Once we
So,
kind
I
of
mean, yeah.
figure all that out,
Yeah,
we
that
could
would certainly provide other opportunities for services we could render.
Yeah, for sure. No, we're always trying to we are in a way trying to be a one-stop shop as much as we can for our clients, and we have a pretty solid referral base. Though I mean, if somebody wants a bathroom fan, we always have a good guy that can come in and do it no problem. So,
Right.
but yeah, it'd be good if we can do the more we can do in-house,
Right.
the better.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking of that conversation we had the other day where the adapter that was missing for the bath fan typically comes along with the bath fan when it's purchased, and you can't really find it anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like the square side to the spherical side with the damper in the middle, just you can't find them.
Mm-hmm.
Explained that to the client, and he opted to replace the bath fan before I come back to hook everything up. If only I could install that bath fan myself. Right?
Yeah, right.
So that's kind of, that just reminded me of that job from the other day.
Well, I found with roofing, it's so hard to say like exactly what you can make, especially as a business owner. So like you have the guy as a worker, but as a business owner, like you can lose money, you can, but you also make great money. It depends on how you set your business up. I know our minimum charge is $325 plus materials, and that's for the first hour. So I mean, if the potential is up to $325 an hour, roofing. But at the same time, though, how many of those calls are you going to get a day? Sometimes you might only get one call for $325, but another day you might get 10, or another day you might get none. So it's like definitely a hard one to say how much you can make as a business owner. But I think the sky's the limit with as a business owner for how much you can really. Maybe it's not the sky's the limit kind of thing, but I think you can make pretty good money. But honestly, I don't think that roofing is the best business, to get into. I mean, if somebody's like thinking, I want to open a business, which business should I open? I think you should have a natural talent for roofing if you're going to get into it, not just like, because it's not exactly, I wouldn't say it's the most lucrative of all the businesses out there, But I personally really like roofing.
Yeah, well, you luckily had experience. I believe you worked with Fortress among other Archon, I think was another one.
Lumberding Exteriors,
Or
with them.
right? You named a few, but you certainly had been through the rounds before you decided to pursue, the ownership of a roofing business yourself.
It was.
So you
for me, it was easy. It was a
yeah,
lot easier.
You weren't fresh out the gate like, I had a great idea last night. Let's start a roofing business. So it does require some sort of, it requires a level of expertise before you can just jump into it. That goes for any real trade, anyways. But
right.
But yeah, you luckily had the experience moving into it.
Yeah, and also contacts and things like that. So yeah, and there's a space in Calgary for roofing businesses. I think there still is. I only say that because there's companies out there that seem to be failing in a lot of ways. Like they're just not getting back to their customers. I had one. It seemed like they had good reviews anyway, but they just this one client gave me a call and so they're taking them to court and all this stuff, and they're just saying they don't get back to them for like 6 months or something like that about their problems. And so I mean, as long as we have companies acting like that, there's always room for a better company to come in and basically replace and outdate that business.
Yeah,
so,
of course.
Yeah, but
I'm wondering if that's the same job that I've been prepared to testify for.
So we've got a couple of them on the go.
They were out in Airdrie, I believe, this job I was thinking of, where I needed to actually provide a statement as the inspector on that job for the client because they pursued legal action against the company that was responsible for the work. And anyways, I'm just waiting for that email to come in like, hey, we need you in court for this.
I don't know why companies let it get that far, because the ones we're dealing with, I mean, they legitimately did a crappy job. We are finding that that's just the way it is. But I mean, that kind of goes back to roofing pay. I think a lot of these guys were underpaid. Like you gotta get what you pay for. And if you're gonna hire a bunch of Kijiji special cash corner roofers, you gotta kind of expect that that's what you're gonna get.
I suppose so, but then again, some companies can very easily have this facade into a job, right, that gives the impression of stability within the company and the promise of this quality which they can vouch for because of all the reviews that they have.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a few ways for them to work their way around it and
Totally.
find the clients
Oh, yeah.
that they want, and that's dangerous for sure for that reason. Dangerous for potential clients.
Well, that's why I would say look at the quality of the reviews, and also look at the worst reviews. I mean, some like the 1-star reviews are generally some of the most honest reviews you're going to get. You're going to see the company at its worst, and then you're going to see the company. It's hard to see it at its best because you kind of go through all the 5-star reviews. Like some of them are just like some paid actors. I get messages all the time saying that they'll, a bunch of guys from India will just basically use a VPN and write me a bunch of reviews. And I mean, but they're always crappy and whatever. I would never go that route, but I could see a lot of our competitors are using those types of reviews.
I could imagine it would be tempting for up-and-comers, right?
Oh,
if
yeah.
they are eager to create, a fan base, dare I say fan base, a clientele.
Right.
And for, I guess, a reasonable amount, they could certainly connect themselves with whatever type resource can provide
Oh, yeah.
estimates from overseas or what have you. But
Totally, man.
I
Totally.
can see how that
Yeah.
would be tempting for some. But
Yeah, well, especially when you're first starting out a business. The first few reviews are the toughest. It's even then. It's like you're starting out as a business, and it's like you got one review, or you got your first 3. Everyone's always checking to see, how many reviews you got, and it's like you got 3 reviews, even though they're all 5 stars. Like people are kind of like, they're going to choose the more, seemingly solidified company with the most reviews.
yeah, well, that's a slippery slope as well because of, well, the sake of transparency, you should be leaving up some poor reviews. I mean, it's a slippery slope, like I said, because you could get some negative reviews. They might be honest about the experience they had. That can impact the Google algorithm. But if you look through a company that has, say, 200 5-star reviews that are all extremely positive and authentic, I mean, it creates this doubt almost in or with the authenticity if you don't find a few lesser
we've seen
reviews, right?
We had one guy leave us a review basically stating that he was skeptical because we had so many good reviews, but then he just realized really quick that no, these are all legitimate reviews. So yeah, he came in with being skeptical about us simply based on the fact that we had so many good reviews. But that's why you really gotta watch the quality of the reviews, because usually if you see a big long review written and it's mentioning the people in the company, it's pretty legitimate, But I mean, I'll take, if a customer just leaves us 5 stars and that's it, I'm happy with that because it helps our algorithms. But I really prefer a quality over quantity approach in that as well.
Of course.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure just how much things like this podcast have really played into it, but you read a review and you see Brody this or Brody that. The fact that they can kind of put a face to the name just with a quick YouTube search or even Facebook search, whatever platform. The fact that they can, I guess I could say again, put a face to a name in that way. I think it certainly does help to verify some of the claims that have been made.
For sure.
About the company and its individuals.
But that being said, I mean, for myself, I always, if we have somebody who wants to give us a bad review or has left us a bad review, I always like to reach out to them and ask them how can we resolve this? How can we get this? How can we turn this 1 star into a 5 star? How can, something like that? And that's why we basically only have 2, bad reviews on our whole profile, is because. When clients get upset, we take care of them. We don't just, we just don't whatever, screw them kind of thing. I mean, try to avoid it at all costs. And I say the least amount of 1 stars you have as a business, the better, just because, it leaves you less vulnerable to attacks. Somebody, you can get a bunch of fake reviews. Company comes in and is like, oh, we want to knock this guy out. So they'll hire, and almost on the opposite side of things, where they'll be like, I'm going to hire some guys from India to write this guy 20 bad reviews in a row. I've also seen things happen where a company has been devastated. I remember one in particular, it came to Best Damn Roofer, he has a following of guys, and one of the company owner came in and just didn't like the way he was acting, and the following got so mad at him and just went and just crushed his business, like totally like basically closed his doors just by leaving a long list of bad reviews and fake ones, and it was like unbelievable.
Well, you can't mess with the Best Damn Roofer. Right?
That's right. I know. Yeah, you don't want to screw around with him. I think that's. I mean, I think that's sad. I think it was uncalled for. I'm not blaming Best Damn Roofer for that, but I just think that, you gotta be careful out there. I guess as a business owner, you're very vulnerable. You gotta watch what you say.
Yeah, of course. Since we're still on negative reviews, I'm thinking back to that time where we did receive a 1-star review. And just like with any negative review, we rectify the problem immediately.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, I don't remember the name or the address. It was a while ago, but we were back on site as soon as we could be, rectified the problem. The guy still wasn't happy. Left another negative review about it. We did everything we could to satiate him.
Right, yeah.
To rectify the issue. We even have a habit of giving out gift cards to the keg and things like that. Sorry for the inconvenience. Sorry for this. We did what we could. We tried our best. We failed. We fixed it. Here's our gratitude for allowing us to, help to change your opinion on the company. But sometimes it's just not good enough for some people, which is mind-blowing, right?
Oh.
Some people just have nothing better to do, it seems like.
Well, I think we've, all been there in a certain way at some point in our lives where we're just a negative Nelly or negative Nancy. And maybe this guy's going through a divorce, or maybe he's going into bankruptcy, or, something like pretty bad could be happening in their life, and just nothing is going to, change their opinion, and they just want to take it out on other people.
Yeah.
That's what I think sometimes happens.
Must be.
But yeah, I mean, it happens, and you can only do your best, and sometimes it's it's not all just about reviews; it's about your reputation, and about the. Oh, there he is. Oh, he's so cute.
Should save a spot for Figaro on the next podcast.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's got a lot to say.
Just
Sounds
Figaro.
like it.
Meows.
Yep, just 20 minutes of him playing around with a ball yard.
Just a meow. Hear the purrs? What's that?
We must have a few more subscribers after this. There's
come
no
on.
way. It has to happen.
Oh, do. Well, did you ever see yourself becoming a podcast host when you first started Diddle Pain?
Well, podcast thing. I mean, I have you to thank for that, honestly. The history I have with recording music, recording bands, and just having that audio production background, you saw that as an opportunity to apply my skill set to the business somehow, and you had that bright idea about starting up a podcast.
Right.
Thank goodness for that idea. No, I mean, I never once thought I'd be, well, that'd be a lie. I mean, I took courses throughout high school in digital media and audio and stuff like that. I didn't really see exactly how I would apply that.
In a roofing business, yeah.
Well, I did have ambitions to take the goals to become an audio productionist. That's the wrong word. To pursue audio production as a career. I did have that thought at one point, decided to start playing live music instead. Spent all the school money on gear and moving here to do that. But I didn't, outside of audio production, I didn't think of a way to pursue these same goals without going to school and whatnot for it. But, the opportunity that you provided for me to, I guess, flourish with this skill set and help to grow something within the business, which is not only beneficial to myself, but beneficial to the company. I mean, no, I never saw it coming, but I was obviously very ecstatic about it when you provided the opportunity. And
I was happy.
So far, so good. Episode 56 today,
Pretty
and
sweet.
it's been good. It's
More
getting
and more.
better and better. We're going through a lot of different changes, finding the right space, getting the right equipment. But we continue to stream through it all, provide quality content, in our opinion.
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah.
no, it's been great. I have no one to thank but you, really, for allowing me to do this. And
Oh, you're certainly welcome. Well, I mean, we're definitely doing our best for quality. I mean, these are the same microphones that Joe Rogan uses if it's good enough for him. It's good enough for me, you know?
Yeah, the Shure SM7Bs. I actually stole one from the studio a few days ago to use at home for my own production
Selfish
needs.
desires.
Yes, basically. They're great vocal mics.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, that's sweet. Yeah, no, I like these things. How do you think these would work for karaoke? You think you could sing in them pretty nice? Think they'd be good?
well, they would be just impractical. I mean, they'd be great, but the thing is, they're a lot less sensitive.
Oh.
They don't require phantom power. So in other words, like some microphones require an external power source, phantom power. These ones do not require that,
Oh,
but
okay.
they still have a less sensitive response.
Really? Huh.
So I mean, like even with recording through my studio gear, it's just I have to push the sensitivity more so. But I digress. The point is they would be less practical for a karaoke application because you'd be holding it, you know. It'd be awkward to hold, and I mean it's more of a studio application type microphone. A cheap $20 dynamic microphone is all you really need for karaoke.
For a karaoke?
But if you are in studio recording that song, I would certainly recommend the Shure SM7B because no, they're not comparable quality wise, but solid microphones. These cost like close to $500 a pop.
They're made in Mexico, too. Yeah, some guy in Mexico is making some good pesos.
Sure. Yep. Sure is a great company. They have a wide variety of equipment, and I've been a loyal buyer. We'll say they do have less expensive products, but no, it's been good. No, I'm really excited to see where this all goes. The whole podcast setup, because again, like the configuration has been changing. It's been even, for example, like just the I'm all kind of sideways trying to use the switcher because like having a certain amount of guests and more limited space, we're kind of having to reconfigure camera angles and microphone setups almost every podcast that we do.
Right. Yeah.
But once we take that step towards expanding the space and making these changes, we'll be able to have a more ingrained setup that requires less screwing around.
Well, I'm excited. I'm excited to show off the new podcast space because it's going to be pretty high end. You know, nothing. I mean, it's not going to be like too insane, but you know, maybe I was thinking 2 chocolate fountains.
Okay.
No, maybe 1 chocolate fountain and then one's like whiskey, high end whiskey.
Yeah, just a little one on the table, kind of between the 2 speakers.
No, big ivory one.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, why not?
That would be sweet though. Yeah, no, we're gonna keep going further. We're start at the bottom, work our way to the top.
Right,
That's the way we do things around here. Hey, what are you doing?
Back on topic with the topic, I guess, of the podcast today. I was just thinking to myself, I mean, it would be worthwhile being transparent myself about the kind of money I've made with No Pain Roofing.
How much you make?
Because if we are looking for, well, I wasn't sure if that was an appropriate question to answer.
If you're cool with answering it.
Because, I mean, I'm not sure if that's appropriate or not. That's
the
thing.
Appropriate.
That's what I question about it.
Why not?
But I was going to say that with this company, at least, starting at an how do I put it? The wage that I received when I first started, I started at $18 an hour.
Yep.
I did have experience with 2 other companies beforehand, one of which can't be named. I'm not sure of the name. RCH was another company. They do exteriors. I'm not sure if they're still around.
Probably not.
And then I was offered a position with No Pain. Started at 18. But the point I was making was that if you value the people doing the work and you can recognize their dedication to the company and their desire to produce, follow safety protocol, you know, and just be a general good person to work with, the raises come quickly, right? I went from 18 to 22, 25, 30, 35. That's where I'll stop. But point being, it all came much quicker than I thought. And I guess that's just a testament to the kind of effort I put into being worth these amounts, right? And
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure how else to put it. That the prime motivator was obviously the kind of money I could make so long
Mm.
as I was reliable, right? The quality and the work that I did was evident, and I mean, even through all of this, I was playing with a band that spent a lot of time away, touring, performing, not only myself but another employee with No Pain, Nolan, and even through all that, the opportunity to come back, continue to work, continue to climb the ranks within the company was a true blessing, right? And so what I mean, this is more of a plug for No Pain, just in case anybody's watching or anyone who is
Mm.
watching who has a son or daughter even interested in
Right. Yeah.
getting involved in the trades. No Pain Roofing is a place to start for sure, or one of many, I'm sure. But I just wanted to speak highly of No Pain in terms of how much a roofer makes, because Mike
Mm.
made a statement earlier about never having any major financial instability since you kind of began this entire endeavor because of how profitable it can be, and I can certainly attest to that on a personal level. Luckily, thanks to my personal money management, first and
Mm.
foremost, is extremely important. But with the
Mhm.
raises that came quickly and my ability to properly manage it all, I've also never really had any major financial stress. I guess me getting married recently, considering me and my wife paid for it all, that was maybe the most financial stress we've had.
Right.
But that's a pretty huge expense.
Yeah. No, you guys got what you wanted though too. Though I mean, nothing too. You guys definitely didn't like. You guys weren't short on budget. You had a nice wedding, and that's why I want to understand. And
Well, I would have loved that whiskey fountain that you speak
Oh,
of,
yeah.
right? And the chocolate fountain. We
That's what I
obviously
got-
we
yeah.
didn't like cheap out, but we certainly
Yeah.
couldn't afford every luxury we would have liked. But luckily,
what
Daniel
luxury?
was there to do that video. Made me laugh so hard. You'll see it one day, but he put together the entire wedding video, right? The long version that includes all the speeches, most of the
Oh, yeah.
speeches. He put in like a bunch of memes and like side tangent jokes about my speech because I was fairly drunk at the time and like trying to just go and like repeating myself a lot and this like and he just put in all this hilarious stuff, man, that it was really good. These Mr. Bean
Mhm.
like clips of Mr. Bean is like scratching his head, just like waiting, looking at his watch and stuff. It
That's
was
fun.
funny, but I digress. Again,
Mhm.
point was No Pain Roofing has been there for me, and No Pain could be there for you, provided you are willing to do the work, be reliable, responsible, be safety conscious, and have a desire to grow financially for yourself and for the business. So
No, it's been good. No, it's good having you guys around here, and loyal people like yourself in the business. We're definitely looking for more people like that. I've always wanted you guys not to feel like trapped in the business, and always feel like it's like I've always wanted to encourage you guys. If you want to make your own business, hell, I'll help you. I'll help you get there. I don't recommend it, but but it's easier, I think, for you guys to work with us as a with me as a partner rather than than just an employee. And that's what I want to do. Is everybody that wants to come and work for No Pain Roofing can come in as a partner. I mean, as the business grows and grows, there's just there's more money to be had for the top people. And it's interesting. Some people, they just want to be at the bottom all the time. They never want to move from $25 an hour. They just want to rip and prep, for the rest of their lives. And hey, if that's the way you want to do it, I mean, then I say that's
right. Well,
all the power to them.
don't want to try to sugarcoat the kind of position I have, or I guess the potential that you've explained. The kind of potential anybody would have, but it does certainly require a level of personal sacrifice, dare I say. Maybe sacrifice is an intense word, but what I mean here is, like I mentioned, I was performing a lot. I was a touring musician, I could say, to an extent, a touring musician. But this mic stand is not agreeing with me at the moment. What I was going to say was, it requires a level of sacrifice. And even with the position I'm in now, inspecting primarily, I no longer have that luxury of working 9 to 5 or 8 to 4. No ifs, ands, or buts. No work outside of those hours, right? So there are certain constraints that I have on my personal life because of the position that I'm in. I don't mean that in a negative way. I just mean to bring this up for the sake of transparency.
There's
right?
there's no panacea, as they say. There's every job has its ups and downs. I think that our job that we have has a lot of ups with it. For me, like I know when I work inside, I can't I can't handle it. I mean, you know, it's like basically like you can't pay me enough to sit inside all day by a coffee machine, because I just sit there and drink coffee until I'm vibrating. And
Decaf though.
yeah, I do the decaf too, which you know, which works. But the next thing is I don't know, I like going outside, you know, and I like the way I do things now, which I have a little bit of office, and then I go outside, and a little bit of office, go outside, you know. So that's kind of a nice.
I know exactly where you're coming from, because there are those days where I can spend a lot of time dealing with emails and clients and invoices and estimates and blah 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 blah. Other days where I'm just pedal to the metal and one inspection after another, and being outside. And
I like, I'm like you like that way. I like moving around.
The variety is nice, right? Yeah.
And you know, and when you get those good weather days, you know, you get really nice views sometimes on the roof. And
I've got quite a few photos actually.
Yeah. And I've had good times on. You know, there'd be a nice lake in the back, you know, and we'll go for a little swim at summertime, because you're covered in sweat most of the time. So it's always nice to have a little dip.
Yeah, we've stopped off on the Bow River a few times. We've had the luxury of working in some communities that have a lake, you know, in that community.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say 9 times out of 10, we have legal access to the lake. But considering we can see the lake, and there's a fence that's knee high between us and the lake, we've jumped a couple fences in our day. Maybe I shouldn't say that,
well,
but I mean, you know.
Well, I'm actually surprised that nobody has gotten swimmer's itch yet, especially with those like lake communities. Sometimes, like, you know, like there's birds like swimming around in there and stuff. Like I imagine swimmer's itch would. I've never had it, but I can imagine that would really be nasty.
Yeah, and with those man-made lakes, you know, just how sanitary I suppose they are. But I feel like they are natural to an extent. They do have like, I mean, I doubt they're fed by aquifers and whatnot, but I don't know. That's a topic for another time. But yeah, I wonder. I mean, I haven't done a whole lot of swimming in those areas. Most of my swimming is on the Bow River. So,
Figaro, someday this will all be yours.
Someday we'll build a pyramid out back just for you. You know, you'll be just as special to us as you were to the pharaohs back in the day.
Oh no,
man!
Oh,
it's okay. She doesn't have her bones aren't fully formed.
You'd be a little handicap.
Oh, you're so light. Hello, Figaro.
Yeah.
Hello.
Well, I think that about wraps things up. I would like to announce that we're coming out with a new feature to the No Pain podcast. We're not going to be doing the mystery word anymore. We're going to do the spin that wheel. Win-win. Everyone's a winner. Everybody's a winner. Step right up. Spin the wheel. Yeah, that's the voice I'm going to have when we spin the wheel. So get used to it. Yeah, that's it for now. We'll see you guys. I don't think we're running one next Thursday, I think. Are we?
Well, everything's going to be leaking. It's going to be +3 for like the next, well, from Sunday to Tuesday, it's +3. But I mean, why wouldn't we?
Yeah, well, okay. Well, we're going to see you guys next Thursday. And we're going to have a good time. Hopefully the wheel's ready by then, but I doubt it.
Plus, Mike is back in town now, and we got to include him in the podcast as much as we can, because we've been trying to manage without him the whole time. I don't think we did too badly.
No, you guys did really good.
Now that Mike's back, he can take the reins once more.
Guess who's back? Who's back again?
That's right.
Okay, well, good times, everybody. If you're looking for a job in the roofing industry, give me a call. We'd like to take you on, give you a go, and see what happens. And bye for now.